It boggles my mind, Madam Speaker, that we are standing here ready to wipe out our national defense at a time when we turn on the TV in the morning and see the Middle East erupting, when we see Iran moving forward on their plans to achieve a nuclear weapon, when we see China increasing their defense spending while we're cutting ours. People need to understand that we have cut $487 billion starting October 1st over the next 10 years out of our defense. And on top of that, we have added this problem of sequestration, which adds another $600 billion over the next 10 years starting January 2nd. The first $487 billion, some thought was put into and plans. Even though we had to adjust our strategy that we've had since World War II, we've had to cut back. We know that we won't be able to carry out the missions that we've been called on to do in the future, but we will be able to survive according to our military leaders. But the sequestration, we held 5 hearings last September with all of our former military leaders, our current military leaders, former chairmen and secretaries of these committees, and to a man, every single one said that the sequestration would hollow out and wipe out our national defense. We would take the Navy back to the size it was in World War I, the armed forces, the ground forces back to the size they were in 1940, and the Air Force back to the smallest it's been since it was created. How does anybody think that given these times, that is not a stupid thing to be doing? And the way the sequestration would take effect is you just pull out the budget and take a percentage. The administration hasn't told us yet what percentage. It's probably going to be about 15-20% off of every single line item. So mowing the lawn at Fort Dix will have the same priority as ammunition for the troops in Afghanistan. How can anybody think that that is a smart idea? You know, that we have a Constitution of the United States, and it tells us how we should operate here in this Congress. And it says one body passes a bill, the other body passes a bill, a conference is formed, you work out your differences, you take it back for final passage and send it to the President to be signed into law. The House has acted. We took tough votes. We accomplished our objective of paying for the first year of sequestration, not just the defense cuts, but all of the cuts across the board to move it back, pay for the first year, move it back into a time where we're less stressful with the election upon us, where we could do it in a less political environment, and the Senate hasn't acted. In 126 days, they haven't acted. We're used to that because the other body hasn't acted. But, you know, Madam Speaker, all they have to do, they don't like our bill, I understand that. All they have to do is pass another bill, get it to conference, and then we'll work out the differences. We accomplished ours through cuts. They can accomplish theirs through increasing taxes, and then we can work out a difference. But there's all the gentleman on the other side says is they've presented a plan and we don't like their plan. Well, a plan is nothing. What they have to do is pass a bill. Show us, get the votes, pass a bill, and then go to the conference. It's in the Constitution. That's how we operate. And it's important enough that we should all act like adults and follow the Constitution and get it done. Our nation, our security depends on it. And we don't have much time left to do it. Madam Speaker, I think it's very important that we pass this bill. I encourage my colleagues to vote for it. Let's act like adults. Let's earn our salaries here. Let's get this job done. I yield back.
Gentleman from California yields back his time. Gentleman from Maryland.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I agree with the chairman of the Armed Services Committee. We should act like adults. So we agree that the sequester cuts are done in a stupid meat-axe way. We also agree with what the chairman of the Armed Services Committee said last October when, if it came to choosing between allowing all the terrible consequences that he rightly spoke about and taking a balanced approach to deficit reduction, which included some additional revenue, he would accept the balanced approach. Now, we heard our colleagues say that this was...
Would the gentleman yield?
Mr. Chairman, not right now. I'll yield for a very quick question.
You presented something that I said when I was asked
Yes.
after a speech what I would do given two bad choices.
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't have anything on the floor yet. You haven't passed a bill, so I don't even have the opportunity to vote for increased taxes because you haven't passed a bill yet. Thank you.